Well, good morning. As we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful morning, it is Thursday, August. September 5th, year 2024. I have to get used to the idea that it's actually already September, post Labor Day, and and as we're approaching actually 9/11, I can't believe that it's just around the corner. But we're sitting here and continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, Francis Ann, and of course the likes of you out there that make it your business to enhance and fortify this concept called public access, indeed, as it deserves this kind of attention and a serious attitude, state of mind, demeanor, that kind of level of willingness that kicks in. So I have a lot to learn from just yeah, okay. I'm sorry about that. Um, okay, very good. Okay. As I said, Thursday, September 5th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. And one last adjustment here. Yeah, okay, now we're good to go. And maybe I should put the headphones, or sometimes it's just kind of feels better. But let's see. Yeah, okay, that's better. I can actually really hear myself now. And so it's like as if I'm not a deep thinker already. I was thinking to myself, well, what does it? How is it really going to feel and be? Um, okay, I'm going to say okay. Oh no! Shoot, no. Ah, it's like I'm so sorry I have to do this. Yeah. Okay, that's it. I promise. So yeah, it's as if I'm not already a deep thinker. I mean, when I say deep thinker, I say maybe person, maybe I'm the kind of person that can make things complicated just by the very fact of utilizing a certain attitude and a certain technique. And actually, that's what I'm doing as we speak in my studio lately. I trying to make a point by introducing the point of reference of the past. And when I say of the past, is the of the accumulation of experience. And I, um, I I realize that it's a really small price to pay when it comes to my case now, trying to retrieve and to relocate or pinpoint or realize or find out. And then, of course, there's the process of implementation is like um, is more ongoing than people think it is, and the layers of the actual creation of the work equals the layers of constant um, um, implementation and constant application and the wonder and magic of accumulating layers that reveal a face suddenly and a meaning and a direction. So trying to retrieve on the basis of some kind of a point of reference of accumulating experience is a, a small price to pay, because otherwise it would be just a process. And if you're an artist, you would know it, a process of either self-inflicting pain or pain being inflicted on the behalf of the trade and the subject matter and the medium that you are engaged in now. And when it comes to arts, really, it's all painful. It's all uh, nothing comes easy. Not that it should, but nothing comes easy. It's kind of a ridiculous statement, really, because it's just like, then okay, so nothing comes easy. So what? So what does it really mean? Where do we stand in relationship to that which we discover as we engage in a journey? And the journey has a voice of its own, demands of its own, expectations of its own, and so much more. And you the same. So this kind of parallel, equal, compatible composition is just good for the beginning, just good for the initiation. Um, and then you realize that actually, whether you're ready or not, would be by the very point of how familiar and natural does it look, does it feel, does it allow you in, does it allow you to operate as you wish to operate, does it give you a fair opportunity, a fair glance, and a um, um, and a decent opportunity to get the feel of it, to get the meaning of it. It's almost like when you carry it with you, and suddenly it picks up a meaning because it's fermenting right next to you. It's accompanying you, and even if you find yourself being engaged in other things, you still think about it. It concerns you. It bothers you. Um, it makes you feel uneasy. But then you realize that the passage is taking place, and then you find yourself actually enjoying the fruits of it. And I'm always surprised when I find myself actually indulging at some certain points where I'm kind of breaking through, and I feel like I'm deep enough into the process that I can allow myself to start improvising, so to speak. And for me, the nature of this is improvisation. Luckily for me, that I'm a drummer, and the application and implementation and demonstration is immediate. I, I was thinking the other day. Um, um, I was born literally. I mean, no, I was reborn literally at age 18 into the options that were available to me due to my decision that maybe the path that I chose from age 15 to 18, as far as what my aspirations are to become a musician and a drummer and the kind of drummer I wanted in the changing world of the 80s, was um, um, meant what it meant. The changes, what the nature of the changes were, the implementations of what really needs to be introduced and or sometimes literally forced in, and then become a permanent scene um, of the composition at hand. So every time I needed to embark, only so I can realize that I don't really need to embark anyway. It's like I'm kind of going, I'm kind of wasting spending my energy already to its fullest just in the zone of preparations, which is good because then when you actually paint or actually write poetry or actually play music, you realize you're completely vacant from outside factors. And boy, oh boy, believe me, that's an incredible feeling. So being a drummer, as I am, and a person who can understand and relate to music, especially progressive music, which means usually it's the fusion of different styles, um, and then of course understanding that just because it's a different subject matter, different material, it doesn't have to be um, first of all too challenging. Secondly, it doesn't have to be anything other than really um, um, time spent to answer the needs, and you realizing early on early on in the process that the situation can really take good care of itself. This new becomings, it can take care of itself, and it actually does. It actually does. And then so every time I needed to approach this zone, by being a drummer, I knew I understood the benefits of knowing where the basics are and being able to go back to basics and where square one is, and being able to go back to square one as as I used to actually to feel that going back to square one is not necessarily a good thing, and or going back to basics is not becoming of my level of whatever sophistication. I always thought I don't need that, only because I wrongly understood what these kind of slogans, statements stand for. Going back to basics. There's something there that's so immediate. And yeah, well, I have some knowledge. I know a thing or two about drums and rhythm, but even if you don't, it's just if you calm down and any gestures that you make, it will be eventually a part of a compartment, of a family, of a situation. But the immediacy of it, I know how to prep, I don't need special surfaces. And sophistication comes from that level of comfort, from being at ease with yourself. Um, because you know yourself to be a thorough person, a profound individual, a strong personality, character, and as one who's being able to utilize um, experience and to make kind of every skill that you acquire to make it work for you until the situation understands on its own behalf that it needs to help you. So that immediacy of like you don't have to get the guitar and tune it or this or that. I mean, you're talking about you know, basic, and but also in the same token, it's just all the other layer that's fermenting there because you happen to be a jazz musician, you happen to be a blues musician, and pop and fusion and rock and roll and jazz rock and you know uh, anything with uh, fusion, you know that goes along together with the and you want to touch every compartment, every reality. You want to spend even if it's seconds while you're playing is in these territories because that's where you feel most expressive. So you know, you kind of contemplate and you think and you feel and you guess and you know, but still you have that level of even if you cannot really imagine yourself literally physically sitting on the drum set and doing it, but you're humming it, singing it, humming it, you know, and it's an impressive not only amount of gestures and possibilities, but also you know each one a composition in itself, and the ease through which I um, get get the system to work for me and how immediate it is 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 mind blowing. Like literally every time I encounter this kind of, I uh, I realize it's super powerful, and I wasn't even aware that that it, you know I was wrong. Yeah, but it took me a while to get rid of this fact that indeed I was wrong, and now okay I'm correcting it and all this. It just and then the situation, reality, did not forgive me. At least not easy. Didn't let me get off the hook, you know. And I was a a frequent visitor in the contemplations of being able to and there's a hidden uh, uh, um, over the top kind of and then again it's uh, whatever it is that I managed to explain to you or not, or display for you or not, or introduce or describe to you in the way that I wanted it to be understood, still, what governs this whole scenario is the accessibility and the simplicity through which an expression can take place and be understood by the world, by whomever is out there that's ready to receive it. So in itself, it's a happening scenario that no matter what and no matter who, at some point someone is going to benefit from it for a long time, for seconds, but it will take place. And even that encounters of seconds can leave an impression that is fairly deep and sophisticated. And guess what? The world benefits from it. Your neighborhood benefits from it. Your neighbors benefits from it. Your friends benefit from it. Your engagement, your level of dedication, your level of promise, you what you promised yourself to do out of the level of that conviction of understanding what you're doing. And it doesn't matter what it is, but it's the code of conduct that you put in place and you follow it, but you're still developing with your music, with your art, with your poetry, with the written word, with uh, the necessity for expression, the need for expression. Immediately, your immediate vicinity benefits from it, and it should be understood as a given by you. I mean, because after all, we're like the one who engage, and this reality that we know of is something that's been created as the ongoing intensity of our engagements releasing particles to create the reality, and the sum of it will be what we know as our lives, as our reality, as our spirit and soul, if you want to call it this way. So yeah, and then I let wishful thinking wishful thinking enter, and give it a little credit. It's okay to sit around and wish. And so where is it that because I'm facing a point, that if you succeed in something, certain exercises, certain things that you choose to include in your engagement, that you find out that it takes you far enough. It gives you the indication that you're doing well, because it suddenly shows a possibility for you, for new materials to be used in your, you know, like the seeds and sprouts of that kind of engagement. So um, at least you're guaranteed of some kind of a crop. And I don't know how successful the growing of your vegetables or flowers will be this year, but it will be successful because it will happen. And then you can finesse your way and finesse your strategy. But then again, you go back to rhythm, you go back to drums. Access is so immediate, is so available, and it's still coming from no. So it's going there. So I'm thinking composition. I'm thinking, okay. I'm thinking about, I'm going to make sure it bothers me even when it doesn't bother me. I need to be in sync with constant attention, because there's so many factors are rolling in now that I can actually create something here that will work for me. Just send it forth into the zone of investment, and whether it's $1,000 or $1,000,000, it's working for you. So here, the concept of becoming the artist that you want to become is being developed and enhanced, because you created that mechanism actually favors you, aware of your engagements, aware of your progress, aware of your style, aware of your contributions, aware of your demeanor, and aware of your expectations and demeanor. So you think about that. Okay, and then you go, and then you go in so a carpet, blanket, being afraid of the truth, kind of thing. Okay, you say, actually, I am, yeah. So that's a scary moment, even when you realize that you're actually breaking through and triumphant. Uh, so it's right. It's right. So where's the painting here? You ask yourself, where's the painting here? Where's the painting in this situation? Uh, it's got to be there. So let's say I can do this for 10, 15 minutes, half hour, 5 minutes, and I can accumulate 3,700 strokes, you know. So, okay, right there. And you realize at some point, if you keep on doing that and thinking about another medium that you're engaged and involved in, that maybe you have more difficulty with, I come to my drums, I can play the drums immediately. I can't say that much about the canvas. I can say that about poetry, but with poetry, I always have to make a decision. Which way am I kind of pushing it to go after point of impact, our point of impact, so to speak, you know? And um, usually, um, my understanding of the fact that actually, even when I experience triumph, it can be considered as a failure. I couldn't relate to this description early on in the process, but now I understand it fully. That indeed the forces that are that insist of uh, having their voices heard uh, can be not only demanding, but also if you don't know enough about yourself as an artist, you don't really know what are the well, if you know the options, at least, but you don't know all the entire variety of options, which you should know, but that's achievable and you will know at some point. But now at stages where you don't have it available, the struggle is incredible. Also, if you're not ready to the degree of the minimum, at least to be ready in order uh, to stand a fair chance to prevail. So there is a reminder in place, you know, and that reminder comes in the shape of admiration. People admire you. People admire you. You have to get used to the idea that you can create, and that creation and these creations will influence people, will speak to people, will make people understand that, you know, find out that they actually admire your work and your work equals you, and so they admire you. And then you understand that now maybe your role of this is the kind of engagement we're talking about is actually maybe in being an instructor, you know, in instructing, teaching, and you know that it works well for you because you know that the teacher when you teach, and you're not an instructor when you instruct. You're just a, a pointer, a pointing out individual. Go there, do this, go there and do more of it, and do this and do that, and you know, and do that and do this, you know. Um, so um, the world benefit, your state benefits, your neighborhood benefits, your village benefits, your friends benefit, your workplace benefit, everybody benefit. Especially if you have that kind of if you are declaring within yourself to yourself that you're an artist, that you're someone who will have a certain level and amount of uh, a level of conviction that no matter who's going to be around you is going to notice that you have. How are they going to notice? It's not like you're going to have to reach for your pocket and put your hand in and then come out with something that you want to give the world. You want to give me. You give them. Uh, um, it's more like it's more like you draw the attention, and that attention that's coming from people has been drawn by your personality or your character or your energy is um, helping the other understand of the significance of your contribution, of the absolutely throughout whatever it is that one can understand and relate to, nothing but positive ingredients, nothing but positive stage, positive composition. uh, a situation where you don't have to second guess yourself, wonder too much about the nature of what it is that you're experiencing. It will be so self-explanatory, painfully self-explanatory. That's how it's been beneficial. And you don't necessarily sit around trying to check who's liking you, who's resenting you, who's helping you, who's otherwise, and it's more like a- any kind of contribution is one. It's uh, already all the amount that you can ever need, and all the amount that you really understand that can share that kind of level of commitment with you. And the giving back is within the level of obviousness. It's too obvious to need to explain or anything. It's too obvious. It will be counterproductive to try and I still ask these same questions. I started by saying, going, you know, the option to be able to revisit square one, the option to be able to visit and utilize and put to use the basics. This is the basics. This is the basics. That rhythm sideways and front and back. It's it's the uh, it's the let's count together. It's the let's uh, accent together. It's like um, let's for the sake of kind of sprucing things out, let's um, um, second guess, second guess ourselves, guess the the game, and the nature of the game, and the rules of the game, and life itself, really. And maybe that can come first, and due to that, you would have a plan already erected, formed, signed, uh, put together for you for your own sake. You will not forget about the importance of this mission while you're engaged in a process where you appreciate and respect the opportunity and the fact that it's available, and the fact that you just happen to be someone who's going to benefit from it. Something almost unheard of. Reality in life can make a master out of you. And nothing wrong in that. Uh, Nothing wrong in understanding the role of those basics that serve you and help you contribute to the society, contribute to the world, prevent those bloody, stupid, ridiculous battlefields. Especially today, I heard about that school shooting, and I was just simply devastated. It's like you want to understand why the creative process is not in the hands of those who choose to buy guns or steal guns from their parents and go to school and kill kids. in my wildest imagination and at my old age and experience, I've seen so much, and I can tell you, nothing tops school shooting for me. For me, it's like the most terrible, the most unimaginably cruel, and then, especially because it's been performed by kids that didn't really put together their basic understanding as to who they are, who they where they're coming from, who they're destined to be, which you know puts an end to any aspiration. After they pick up a gun and kill kids, they can kiss their lives goodbye. Either they get killed or they spend the rest of their lives in jail. Um, I will never even dare to try and get um, into the information, the details, the particles that make this whole subject uh, be supported with its own weight, with its own formation of a stage, you know. Um, so definitely that I would feel uh, that there is uh, something that happened to be alive, something that understood the placement of a hit which creates a sound. Now, that sound is a melody, that sound is a harmony also. So, you know what? I had a friend who used to do that, contemplating, thinking out loud, whatever. But he wasn't doing it for 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 15 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or 10 hours. He was doing it for 17 hours. 17 hours, understanding what's on the agenda and operating accordingly. It always comes from the greatness that will come eventually from that. And on and on. Now, I just did 30 seconds. The guy was doing 17 hours. I doubted if he was taking a break or two, you know, not more at least. So what are we learning from it? We're learning that someone else also, in addition to you, next to you, because of you, due to your actions, or maybe not, but still, it's taking place there. And it's beeping to let you know that it's back in town and things are happening now. And then you realize that it's important. And the fact that it's important no matter what you think or not, it's important to wake up in the morning and find yourself wherever, and someone says good morning. Someone doesn't have to say, how was your night? How did you sleep? Did you have breakfast? Are you happy? Are you whatever? Good morning. And you answer good morning back. And you just feel fantastically balanced, fantastically happy, fantastically um satisfied and content. And if there is even a loose agent within the system, okay, so it will make an annoying noise for a little while, but it's it's bound to fade away, and it will, because that's the nature of that circle of motion that never stops. It will help the situation get rid of the unwanted, annoying sounds and noises and whatnot. So you'll definitely be realizing that what you're finding yourself doing is definitely being understood and interpreted as that which makes other people's lives easier, lighter, that simplifies reality. That happens to be your reality, their reality, our reality. And yeah, um, eh, and then you realize actually the most that you can need and you will need in life is to how to refine your your communication skills, really, more than anything. More, and then you, but you know deep inside you that you have some skills when it comes to communication. But maybe this is a different ballpark, as they say, and different ballpark demands a certain attitude accordingly. And that's what we find ourselves doing a lot of the time, trying to dig in deep, and halfway through, suddenly you sober up for a second and you come back to your real self and you look around and say, first of all, what the hell is this godforsaken place? Where am I now? What am I doing here? Why am I sweating? Why is it hot? Why am I not wearing my shirt? Why am I, things like that. But then only so, then later on you will say, okay, okay, I'm game. I'm game. What about that? Is that a piano? Fine. I accept the piano into my life. Are, are these drums there? No. Maybe I should bring my own drums. Move it from point A to point B. And then you stare the situation in the face. You evaluate and calculate. You make sure that you have the reservoir and the deposits that are just speaking in the name of this request or need, I should say. Um, Yet to be seen, yet to be found out, yet to be realized. Um, and at the end of the day, public access is just a perfect entity to help you out there decide that maybe it's not a bad idea to show up at LTV and start your own show, podcast, anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what level of sophistication your message is going out, and it doesn't matter. And if it matters, even if it matters, then you come back to it and you declare it, you introduce it to 5 to 10 seconds, and you and and you and that's it. You're already back to routine. Just like now and then, your phone will tell you, "Please help me. Give me your password." You know, to update and whatnot. We do that all the time, even though sometimes we're reluctant. Why do they want to know so much about me all the time? My password, my date of birth, my anyway. So I don't know. I don't know if I should say, just to conclude what I just experienced with you or shared with you. Uh, um, the conclusion is really a one conclusion that fits all states of mind, all scenarios, all particles of reality, all together, completely, in a non-wavering fashion. That means it's been supported by its own weight, and without any chances to be derailed because it's overweighted or something like that. The infrastructure is strong. It can withstand the motions that Mother Nature or the wind outside or the rain can trigger within. And that's known, that accepted, and you're doing your kind of actually magical walk through all these little kind of happenings and windows into that reality. And you will find out at the end of the day again that it's you, the person that is under discussion here, your life, the material that this uh, hands-on um, project will be dealing with, and so much more. It's just about your moods and mood swings and your behavior across the day. It's the um, uh, deep understanding of things that you took as a given in your life, as a given. This is a given. You said to yourself, you hear saying to yourself, "This is a given." It is indeed a given, and yeah, it's yeah, amazing. I just thought about something. Where did I see it? Here. I'm gonna share this with you. Definitely. Oh yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Someone is playing the sax next door. Yeah, and this is one out of three, so I'm gonna share a very short one. Time for whispered strolls, insights into youthful drama, floss dribbling all along, soaring with vigilant guard. Here you stand, a woven slam down, the count now over. My presence did not seek acquis- acquisis- ac- acquisis- acquiescence, ac- acquiescence, did not seek acquiescence to the norm. I like the way it's written. You signify a slowdown, a precise match, brimming with intensity. It's not the slim, adverse drug plowing at the junction of gatherings, as you were unaware, of a telltale pose and a cover up to the hills, over the hills with a tremble belonging to a sense of the other, growing beneath a gaze amidst the thick bush. So as you heard the whisper the second time around, blasting through tears to soar beyond their initial takeoff, my sense of the here, entwined with body's rhythmic growth. This is what I was talking about, the body rhythmic growth. Something like that, because it grows, it's up, 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 and it's sideways, sideways. It's amazing. My sense of the here entwined with body's rhythmic growth, that which ignites the heat, swiftly rising into embrace. Perhaps you, me, him, her, them, our collective essence. I barter a warm pact. I I barter a warm tact, where sameness bleeds without strife in verdant shade amid glowing shrubs. Players seem to dance. Applause echoes nearby, soaking in closeness, browsing with haste, envisioning all before the trespass, shattering wishful lists, guts laid bare, and unfiltered pity descends. We deep as one and weep as one, aiming for a bullseye, searching between ashes splatter to you, beloved, from realms above. So now, in the sweetness of reminiscence, testing brushes against slow bushes where pilots from hell take flight, down drawn from the pinnacle of master sessions. Blessings pour into the cup as it glows, inscribing the registry of facial recognition, hunting for the will cultivated in the depths of a plain stream. As thirst wavers, it dictates a setup of saturation, blacklisted, raised in the grip of indulging in sugar driven items. So be blessed, you admirable choking frozen statue, and all that ensues with reserves of delight amongst probability, yet the rolling growth, tender with pulsating life, a righteous, wrathful place for an uprising in circles, as if a bridge were to nurture the explosion of blossoms. How does it cling, a latch rim bonded with notoriety? You, the one who elevated the sail above the ground. A celebration erupted, pitching a score, and you emerged victorious. Yet the inflated atmosphere belonged to the separate trend of caution, though a blast guided in a bricklayer haphazard. Um, though a blast guided a bricklayer haphazardly, it landed with grace. Royalty set a standard for the idol as the king withdrew to indulge. I can hardly believe I uttered those words, but the pain doesn't matter. Clearing the path of pain, piercing through the veil of humanity, I refer to a spiritual journey, a man made cave, concealing treasure and hopes fluttering amidst the tunnels of well wishers. Yet they neglected to reveal the terror that accompanied it. A somber platter, a somber pattern between the rose petals clutching onto thorns just in case. So, I mean, this is what actually turned out to be five and not, yeah, it turned out to be five. But this is, mind you, 69 sections has to it. 69 and growing. So I can finish with this. Brought upon the scene of high stakes requirements, the outstretched arms of a loving world seem to say, we've got a special promise just for you, so you can navigate the pathway to calamity before you toss your desires into the abyss of no return. I mean, no turning back, not even with a GPS, not by your own hand, nor by the well meaning advice of a bright eyed stranger. But hey, at the end of the day, a silver of light, a sliver of light, brings the chaos back into the natural order, and maybe a bit of laughter too, just for the good measure. Just for good measure. Softening by whispers. I like the images that are just telling you that actually you're on the right path. Brandishing a song, the first spark ignites within belief blooms, adorned with resolute might. A champion's leap before the world's gaze alights, boxing predictions, gasping at newfound heights, the rich source. And then of course north of a blessed feature, as I call it, slope for a rich kind, the well-to-do steel mind, and then raindrops, they're calling over the drip of magic as you center yourself over the it's over and over. Because it's the recollection of personal cryouts. There's so much more to it. Then the system stands. It stands a chance without backers. Leave it at that. Stands a chance without backers. That's a good place to be. Connected with knowledge of preferences and of artistic naivete, the era of discovery. Discovering touchstone implementer, hint of vengeance, glimpse of adversity, possible quorum, lost yet not balding movements, ink paste, partial holistic depth, a rose shy and unassuming. I love that. I love the ending of it. So we're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday and as much as we're here this morning, Thursday morning, September 5th, year 2024. Amazing post Labor Day, approaching 9/11, and just the whole idea of uh, the New Year, the Jewish New Year, Yom Kippur, then we have Halloween and whatnot, a lot of things. And the music festival is in town, and the film festival is coming into town also. We got a lot of things happening. God bless, keep up the good spirits, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for your patience.